In December of the year 2019, this 1965 VW Beetle was pulled out of a barn in Ohio after a sleep of 35 years. And I purchased it and decided I'd like to work on it as a pre-retirement project. It quickly became my COVID-19 meditation project, where I got to spend some time, most days, working very slowly and meticulously and thoughtfully on this restore. As I got into the project, I found out that there was more rust than there was car. And so I had to really pull out the chassis and pull the body off the chassis and tear out everything, cut out the floorboards and started from scratch. And you can see the rust in these wonderful floorboards. So fortunately, the bare bones of the chassis were in pretty good shape, so I was able to start there with that. So the rebuild began, starting with new floor pans. You can see I welded in one of the floor pans in the first picture, then welded them both in. And by the way, I learned welding. My nephew, Scotty, was my online professor. He's a great car body guy, and walked me through all the steps there. And then you can see I took it outside and gave it a really good coat of some Rust-Oleum black primer to help avoid having some of the rust in the future. As I was working on the chassis of the car, I also was concurrently rebuilding the engine. Here you can see the engine on the engine stand. I put in new cylinders and rings and pistons and a few other new parts, but tried to maintain as many of the old parts as I possibly could to keep the vintage notion, and also to keep it running in the way it ran in 1965. In the second picture, you can see I've installed the engine back on the chassis. I took it outside so I can see if I can crank it up. And the real question now is, will it start? So let's give it a try. Hot iron and ready to go.
Not to be confused with any Volkswagen backfiring.